So over the last 10 to 13 years, I've become extremely picky on how videos are made, whether it's during the actual production, camera angles, lighting, backgrounds, and then even in the post when it comes to editing and stuff. And so a lot of the videos I've put up here, last of the 813s, they've really lacked a lot of the quality that I like, and in watching them, I irk really bad. It's just, I know they could be so much better. Uh, a good example of that is like the video "Let's Help Each Other." Kind of going off script, there's no script in front of me. It's just me talking, but at the same time I'm cautious of the equipment that's around me. I can see the camera, and I'm used to being behind the camera and focusing on that stuff, and being on the other side is a difficult thing for me for that reason. And plus, the other reason is I'm not very attractive to look at. So instead of looking at my ugly mug for 30 minutes or so, do something a little different, a little something more in my comfort zone that I've grown accustomed to probably the last couple years, and that is playing a game while talking. uh, it's a lot easier to look at my computer screen and talk to it versus pretending to talk to nobody that's there, because that's essentially what you're doing when you record a video, and everybody knows that you're talking to yourself. There's literally nobody inside this room or inside this house with me right now at the moment, other than my dog and my cat. So I have grown accustomed over the years to doing videos like this where I'm playing a game and is comfortable talking versus putting a camera in front of me and speaking. I'm not comfortable with that anymore. Not saying I'm not comfortable with it. I guess that's a bad way of putting it, but it's more of trying to get used to doing that again. It's something that took me a couple years to get used to when I first started, and then I hadn't done it in 10 years, and this is what I've been doing the last few years, so this is a lot easier. So what I'm going to be doing tonight is actually playing a game while talking to everybody, and like I said, I wanted to clarify why it's a little bit different. I'm going to be playing a game tonight that's about 10 years old, which is fitting since I hadn't been around in 10 years. And in fact, actually, it just celebrated its 10-year anniversary this year. It's a game I'm surprised that really didn't take off within the truther and prepper community. It seemed like it was right up their alley, and an opportunity that was missed for everybody. So we're going to go ahead and get into that. Tonight we're going to be playing Minecraft, as you can tell by the load screen here, and this is my server load screen. And I play Minecraft a little bit different. I don't do the regular, hey, let's hug and share type Minecraft. I like to play on Anarchy servers. I mean, why not? That's very fitting for me if you think about it. And so I'm going to kind of do some walkthroughs on getting out of here while talking to you guys about shit that's relevant to being over here. This is not a let's play. I'm not going to sit here and go over the game or anything. I'm going to talk about relevant events that have to deal with everything that's been going on here lately. So let me crack open this beer, and we'll get right into it. So while doing this, I am going to have to hide a lot of the wither names, and I've got chat hidden just because there is some very crude things that come and go on Anarchy servers because there is no rules. So, the first thing I want to talk about in this video is the whole Von Helton thing. The whole Von Helton trolls, the interview that was done with Tracy. I want to kind of lightly get into that a little bit. I gotta be able to get to that chest. Am I just wasting my time? I'll start off by saying I've never really had any interest in trolling Von Helton. To me, everything that could have been said or needs to be said has been said over the last, forever. Can you still open chests from free cam? No, you can't. So, anything that's ever needed to be said about him has been said, has been done. The guy essentially kind of gives out things on his own about himself, and there's really no reason to discuss things when he will just kind of, bring you all the information himself. Which, a piece of advice for Vaughn is, maybe don't do that. Don't. I understand you get upset and things. I wouldn't come out on video and on YouTube for the potential of millions of people to see you, going on about, your kids being taken away and stuff. And, I get it. You do have every right to be upset about those things. I know I would be too. But, the whole world doesn't need to know that. Okay? Yeah, so I've never had any interest in trolling Von Helton. It's kind of like a dried out well, if you will. And we're going to do that, aren't we? One of the... And I don't have a problem with people trolling people. It's... Where I start to have an issue is when, like, the death threats and shit come in. That's just not cool at all. And right now you're kind of seeing that within some of the Vaughn trolls. Not all of them. But you guys need to realize, too, that it's always looked at as a pack mentality. If one person thinks that, then it's assumed that everybody else thinks that. Am I on the 0? Yeah, I am. I don't want to be here. And those are things you got to watch out for, because they'll tend to hijack a group and they create kind of a standard, an unintentional standard, where they go out and they say stupid shit like, oh, I think so-and-so should die. And, that's not what everybody thinks, but... Sorry, I had to do a quick cut there. There's some more inappropriate things going on, but... Anyways, you get the gist of what I'm saying, just... You are who you hang around with. And my advice to a lot of those people is don't hang out with people like that. And I think Grampy Lobster really touched on that in one of his videos. It's, you put a lot at risk and you lose a lot of credibility when things like that are said or done. I know Secular Opinion, I know Polly's Customs, and I know Father Judgment. I've known these people for a very, very long time. And I know that they don't wish death upon anybody. They never have. Uh, they're more interested in kind of disproving and going over things that he talks about and not being malicious in that sense. So, Vaughn, just remember that these, those people I'd mentioned, they're more after kind of discussing and disproving things that you discuss or you do, and they have no ill intent towards you. Now I know you believe full-heartedly that uh, Father Judgment was a head person of the Ku Klux Klan or whatever, and I'll tell you that's 100% not the case. And these are some of the reasons why we did want to reach out and talk to you, because these are things that will lead up into another video I want to make about Great American Mom. So after a lot of the things you've said recently really led us to believe that Great American Mom has been talking in your ear. And that's kind of like some of the information we've been wanting to talk about. But what really sucks is every time we mention Great American Mom, whether it is to Von Helton or to anybody really, the subject really wants to change. Not sure if this is a fear thing where everybody fears Great American Mom. I could understand why people would fear her. She's very ruthless at times. But some of the things that led us to believe that Great American Mom has been talking to Von Helton. The first thing was when... Oh, who am I getting shot by? Well, that's just a skeleton. I'm good. Was the mention of Von Helton, or Monograph having money to help Von Helton. That seemed like an intentional jab at Monograph to try to get Von Helton to go after Monograph. And he did. He made a video discussing about it and talking about it and everything, and really wanted to reach out to old Monty. And Monty's got other things going on, and didn't have the time for that. Didn't want to discuss it. Didn't want to talk about it. So that's what kind of got my old ears perked up, was hearing that. During the interview, something I had heard was, like I discussed, the whole Father Judgment being a head guy for the Ku Klux Klan. Now, the whole Father Judgment being racist thing has always been perpetrated by Great American Mom. In fact, she was the one behind getting Father Judgment fired from his job working at a university as a maintenance technician, by getting a hold of them and showing them some altered screenshots and things, whether she used Photoshop or Java debugging tools like I showed in my last video. Most people call that Inspect Element. I still call it just JavaScripting. But she was able to show that to the university he worked at and got him fired. And the reason for her doing that is, Father Judgment's always been very critical of Von Helton, and Great American Mom has always been more or less a confidant towards Von Helton. Some more things that are in there were the start of where Annie and I came from. When Annie first started, it was in 2005, and her account wasn't uh, Annie Hands White. That was a troll account made against her. Her original account has always been Annie L. White, and she did political commentary. I just heard a note block. That's not good. But she'd always done political commentary and was extremely well at it. And it kind of made a lot of the truther community, kind of envious a little bit towards her about it. For one, she was very attractive. She was a lot more attractive than any of the other truther girls and everything that were out there at the time. And that was the funny thing is Annie didn't really want to be part of like the truther community and all that. She just kind of got sucked into it. So that's where that came about, and that's a whole video for another day to get into. Now, let's see, I touched upon like the death threat things and everything else. You know what? I'm going to jump right into this part and just be as blunt as fucking humanly possible with it. I'm going to call it right now. Big C, you don't fucking scare me one bit. You never have. Okay? I know you've been around about 12 or 13 years. Honestly, your opinion to me means jack shit. And Von Helton, if you're still listening to this video, this is kind of important to you too. And Monograph, if you're listening to this video, this is kind of important to you too. But Big C, I wouldn't be running around after all these years of you trolling and being involved in trolling Von Helton and trolling other people, because we've already linked you to other troll accounts. All of a sudden try to come in and use your wife's weight as working with the state and, try to act like you're an innocent bystander and all this. It's not going to work that way. I'll be the first one. If you want to call upon the omnipotent power of the state of Texas or what have you to do something, then by all means do that. But I'll be the first one to point them in the direction of, you've been over there with the Vaughn trolls. Especially, when I say the Vaughn trolls, I'm not talking about the trolls, haters, and naysayers. The original OG guys, such as Father Judgment or Secular Opinion, those guys, they've got class, they've got standards, and you obviously don't. You've been involved in a lot of this malicious ugliness that has been going on. And you always have been. You've always poked your nose right into where it doesn't belong every time. And myself and everybody else is really kind of getting tired of it. Is that worth getting to? Nope. Absolutely not. So, yeah, we're all getting kind of tired of it. And there's no reason to bring your wife into it, because all it's going to do is just stress out your marriage, okay? Yeah, we are talking about you. We have pointed out the fact that you have been part of troll accounts, but we're not sitting over here making death threats or anything at you. If you want to go that way, then by all means, do what you think you have to do, but just know that attempting to use your wife's position and everything is not good, because the state of Texas is going to come back, or wherever it is she works for. You're not very clear on that. they're gonna go through and they're gonna look at things, and they'll probably call me, question me, and I'm just gonna point them right over to, you know, this shit you do, and say, well, you might want to look at, you know, her husband if that's the case. You know, if I'm gonna get bitched at for shit, you're going down with me, bud. Um, but there's no reason to put a strain on your marriage, you know, for that. That's I don't want to go that way. There's something up there I don't want to see. But yeah, don't be that guy. Okay? Uh and if Mrs. Big C is listening and watching this, then I would actually encourage you to talk to your husband and find out real fast before you make any moves or any judgment of or what you think is correct to figure out where he actually stands in all this, because he's not nearly as innocent as anybody thinks. I mean, this is a guy, need I remind everybody, that a few weeks ago literally got a married couple to fight and argue against each other on camera in a chat room. Okay? Well, not a chat room, but a Google Hangout. So that's one thing I want to get across is making sure everybody has all the facts before they go through and start. Oh, excuse me. Making sure they have all the facts before they go through and start making hasty decisions on things that aren't true or correct. Do I have Jesus off? Yes. Try to get under this lava fucking monster here. I am open to suggestions or anything for other videos as far as things to talk about and discuss. Gosh, you know, and I was just talking to Katie about this tonight. You know, things happen so quick, it's hard to get a grasp really on what to talk about and what to discuss. And, you know, I think I kind of touched lightly on a few good subjects here today. And I'm probably going to end this here and try to find my way out of this this cobble monster and make another video soon. So I'll see you guys around.